All right, welcome to the Halloween edition, the spooky, scary edition of 0 to 60. I'm your host, Matt McChesney. It is an honor to bring in my man, Eric Weddle, 14-year NFL safety, Super Bowl champion, and just an overall bad motherfucker with a better beard than me, and that's hard. So, Eric, welcome to the show, brother. 0 to 60 on the Bleed Network. We've obviously spoken on Coach JB's show hundreds of times, bud, but it's the first time on my show, and it's really awesome to have you on. How are you today, bro? Happy Halloween.
I'm doing great. Got a practice here this afternoon with the high school and taking the kids out Halloween shopping. I got 4 kids ranging from sophomore in high school to 4th grade, girl, boy, girl. So got a busy night ahead of us, but love what you do. Obviously, we've been on the show a few times together and can't wait to hang out in person and relive the glory days and talk how good we used to be, because we can't play no more.
Bunch of old guys now. I know you're a proud Utah Ute. I'm proud to see you, Buff, and we're all moving to the Big 12 together. You guys took a hard one to Oregon. We took a hard one to Oregon. They might be the best team in the Pac-12. I'll tell you, though, bro, I went out to Salt Lake City for the first time ever at the beginning of the year. My son went on a recruiting trip there. Coach Harding was awesome. The O-line coach, Phil Willingham, obviously was incredible. That place is special, Wed. Like, talk a little bit about your relationship with Utah, and game day was just there. The stadium was rocking. It was crazy. They played Metallica the whole time. If I wasn't a CU Buff, I don't really have anything against Utah other than the rivalry in the Pac-12 moving to the Big 12. I've never played them before, so
for sure.
It was pretty special. I was blown away. Talk about that place a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's an up-and-coming gem. If you ask me, a lot of people don't know where even Salt Lake City is outside the state, and I didn't know that when I was getting recruited by them. I didn't know where it was at. Didn't know anything about their program. I knew they had beat USC in the mid '90s with a bowl game, but other than that, I was like, all right, let me see what this is all about. And I tripped there. I had 5 trips lined up, and they were my first trip, and it just felt right, felt special. The culture, the city. I mean, Utah football is all the city has, right? And the Jazz are there, but really nobody cares about the Jazz. So Utah football has been ever since probably the early 2000s or maybe the late 90s when Smitty was there. Steve Smith and Dyson, the Dyson brothers, and Jordan Gross. Like, we had a few studs come through there, and we've been on the come ever since. And it's a special place, a very tight-knit group, family oriented. And once you're a Ute, you're always a Ute, regardless of how well you played on the field. It's somewhere where you can always go back in the community. And I know Steve Kim always talks about the relationships you make in college, and it's so important for these guys.
Yes.
And that's somewhere that you could always go back and find a job, and you can start your home and family life there.
The great Eric Weddle joins us here on 0 to 60 with Matt McChesney on the Bleed Network. Bro, look, there's obviously a rivalry here, but it's pretty one-sided. I mean, Colorado hasn't really done a lot in the Pac-12. It was a bad move for us. It was a great move for y'all. Yeah. I think the consistency at the head coach position for you guys and Coach Willing. I mean, I hope he never leaves. He pulled up on that Harley looking like just
a straight G
right
there. Seriously.
So like the consistency there, and then Coach Prime in Boulder and all he's done. I wanted to get your thoughts on that, because I know you guys have BYU, and that's a hated rivalry, and now it's in conference. But Colorado's moving back to a conference that when I played there from 2000 to 04, we played in the Big 12 title game 3 times and 4 times in 5 years.
Good program. Yep.
Before we fell off and moved to the Pac-12, which it's been a long 20 years. In your opinion, talk about Deion a little bit, the move back to the Big 12 from a Utah perspective, how they're looking at it, but then also what you see for Colorado moving forward, because I know that, like, deep down, I didn't know this about you, but you're a Bronco fan, like you really want them to win. I didn't know all that shit about you.
Yeah, so I think what Coach Prime's doing, or do I say Deion? I don't really know.
Coach Prime, they get mad when you call him Deion.
I know. I don't know. Since we played in the league, can we call him Deion?
I think we can call him Deion.
Yeah. So
If I'm gonna call play, I'm gonna call play.
Yeah, I don't. Whatever he wants to be called, I don't really care. But I think what he's doing, and we've had many conversations about this. He is changing the game in the sense of uh, using the resources and the rules to his advantage to turn programs around. And this generation of kids is so different from what we were back in the day. And if you don't change with the times and you don't progress in what these kids want and need, you're going to get left behind. And he's an example of using it to his advantage, the social media, just his very honest and direct approach to the kids, which I like. And I think at times as ex-players, we just want to be told the truth. And if we're sucking or if we're not good enough, just tell me. Don't sugarcoat it and don't lie. We could tell a fraud instantly. And once you cross us, you're never going to come back. You never can come back into our inner circle. We're very loyal, prideful people, especially when you get to the level that we played at. We cherish those relationships that are very honest and real. We may not like what we hear, but we could always respect you at the end of the day. So I can respect what he's doing over there. I think it's showing what you better be doing at the college level or you're not going to have a job. And it's going to take a couple years. Like he's showing, like, I know they got off to a hot start, but everyone who watched them knew it was going to take some time. They have some special players there, but to go in there to the Pac-12 doesn't help that the Pac-12 is probably as good as they've ever been in that conference from top to bottom. So it's gonna have some humbling moments these next 4 or 5 games, especially throughout the season. They lost a couple games that they shouldn't have, but they also won some that maybe they shouldn't have. So you got to take it and run with it and know that, as he said, this is the lowest they're going to be, and you better get them while they're down. But I love what he's doing. There's some things that he does that my personality as a coach I wouldn't do, but you got to respect the job that he's doing there.
And being a high school coach, you guys are in the playoffs right now, right?
Yeah, we got a bye. We're the 2 seed in Division II, so we got a tough road, but we're excited for the opportunity, no doubt.
So if Coach Prime walks into your office to recruit one of your kids, what are you asking him as a coach?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't. It's not my place. I would answer his questions about the player honestly and be very direct. What people don't understand and players don't understand is your coach, his name is on everything that he says when he's speaking for the players, right? And if I vouch for a kid that is a scumbag, my name is attached to that. And everything matters. Everything matters at the high school level. How you treat people, how you work, how you study, how you prepare. How are you in the class? How you treat your teachers? How you treat your mom and dad? Like, so much of that is important to me. And when I'm trying to build these kids into men and future husbands and fathers one day, I don't have the 5-star guys. That's just not the reality. I may have 1 or 2 kids go to Division II, Division III, and maybe that'll change over the course of how long I'm a coach. But I don't know. I wouldn't ask him much. I mean, it's not really. He's not recruiting me, So I don't know. It would be more so like how's he doing? How's his family? The dynamic of his boys being on the team, and sometimes you could see that inner battle of coach to dad, and how he maneuvers that, and especially when you're talking that you're the figurehead of 100+ guys. So, but it would just be catching up, and whether he knew me or not, that would just be something catching up about our good old days.
Yeah, he definitely knows you, brother. So let's stay in the safety realm. Obviously, I've been a trench monster my whole life, but my favorite players have always been safeties. Always. I always wish I could do it. It was the most physical position that you could find on the field. I grew up in an era where there were just hitters everywhere. Every team had one. Some team had two, and everyone emulated those guys.
No doubt.
Staying on the college track before we get into the NFL here, Shilo Sanders had a really questionable targeting penalty in the UCLA game that kind of turned the tide of the game, in my opinion, when they kicked him out. UCLA started exposing some spots where he was dropping the hammer. I thought after watching it a whole bunch, it was a shoulder. He kept the head out of it. He did stand over him and let him know. And damn it, that's football. I like it. What brother? You're the safety coach at CU. How do you coach the position that you love and played so well for 14 years and got a ring?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be understanding and knowledgeable of the rules and what they are, and you have to stress that every day. Shilo is a banger, and he is an old school type safety, which is fun to watch. But those hits have consequences now for your team, and for me personally, I would just stress the importance that you don't want to hurt your team, and have to be understanding and knowledgeable of those situations. Like, I know you've heard me say this. You just got to start taking guys out and blowing people's knees out until the rule changes. And I know that's hard for people to hear, but what the position that you put us in as safeties is a lose-lose situation where those hits that are good, solid hits are hurting your team. And now on the flip side, well, okay, I'm not going to hurt my team. I don't want to hurt my team and get penalized. I'm going to start taking guys low. And you've seen those hits happen, and it's unfortunate. I'm actually surprised that we're not seeing it more often, that guys are still taking guys up top. That hit, he did lead with his shoulder, but his helmet did hit him underneath the chin, and he's up high. Any type of hit up above the shoulders is going to get called, whether it's legal or not. In our minds, we love the hit because that's the way the game's supposed to be played. But the way the rules are, you have to change the way you play, or else you're going to hurt your team.
Okay, so you're coaching the safety position, which I know you coach the hell out of your safeties.
Yeah.
You played the position for so long, 14 years, bro. You know damn well. Look, I played defensive line for a long time, and then I played offensive line for a long time. If you went after my legs as an offensive lineman, the first thing I would say to you is, bitch, get off my legs. And as an offensive lineman...
You're fighting. You're fighting. I got a funny
tell me about a good fight.
Funny comment about that. So I was in training camp. It was either my rookie year. It was for sure my rookie year. And I know you know Chris Dillman. And we called him. We called him
monster at guard.
Yes, Nasty Deal was what we called him because he was one nasty son of a gun. So in camp back in the day was full pads every day.
Oh yeah,
we were full live, like tackling, hitting, thud. Like it was basically you either brought it or you were cut. Like that's the way it was, and you either rose to the occasion or not. So I remember in training camp we were in a 9-on-7 type drill. And it was live. And I was playing like a dime backer back then, my rookie year. And they did a little like a power O inside, like in 11 personnel. And I got over the top, and Deal came pulling, and he didn't see me. And I took out his outside leg because back then you could cut linemen. Yeah. And I'm 200 pounds. Like I'm not stupid. I'm not going to take any lineman up top. And I wish I could have took a picture of his face. He was so mad and he had red eyes the rest of practice, and his sole goal was to kill me every single play. So the next snap, the ball was run away, and I was just running to the ball. He came and elbowed me in the back of the head, just trounced me into the ground and laid on me and said, "You ever do something like that again, you're going to die." And I was like, "Yes, sir. Won't do that again. My apologies." I went back to the huddle, never spoke of that instance again, and I knew right then I want him on my side, not as an enemy. But
bro, I think that every single one of us, especially from the older generation here, has that story. Like my first day in New York, after I got like cut with West Nile virus and sit on my ass for 8 weeks and like get healthy, I got to New York, and it was a Super Bowl for me. You remember Jason Fabini, like big, ugly ogre, looking like played forever, like just a massive human. But he was the right guard, and I was going full speed and just whipping his ass. At 3 plays in, it was just a huge melee and fight, and I got kicked out of practice. And I was like sitting in the locker room, and I'm like, "Fuck! I just got here. They're gonna cut me. God damn it!" And Tannenbaum walks in, and he goes, "Yeah, Fabini's probably not going to be here very long. Good job today." And I was like, "All right."
Oh,
so
nice.
that's part of practice. It's part of the game that's gone, though, bro. So
It is.
how do you teach Shilo or one of these freaks? How do you teach Jarlin James? How do you teach Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson, who's straight old school?
Kareem's
How do you teach these guys to go low? Like, isn't that from a respect thing? If I go low on you, like, bro, that's like I can run and cut in the open field. That's an athletic thing. But if I just if I'm pass blocking and I just flash hands and go after your knee, that's like an intentional thing, in my opinion. How can we change the mindset of football players to not think like that? Like, should the aiming point be between the hip and the knee?
Yeah, I mean, so the way I kind of changed the way I played, especially as the rules changes and evolved while I was playing. Like, I wasn't an overly big guy. I was more of a sound wrap-up tackler, and I could kill people when the timing was right. Like, I'll give a funny story. I tried to kill shot Jermaine Gresham, Bengals tight end back in the day. He was like 6'6", 265, like gigantic. And he ran a seam up the middle of the field, and I'm a post player. And I came and I had a clear shot on him, took him up by his chest, and he was like this. I speared him, and he kept running like this, and I was on the ground. And I was like, that'll be the last time I try to do something like that, because I was made a fool of. So then I just started to, like you said, take them. Your aiming point has to be at the waist or lower. But there are times where you're going for the ball and you're gonna go up high. And the coaching point I would say is if you're making a play on the ball, you go for the ball. If you're not making a play on the ball, you have to take them low, and that's the only way it could be. And as it's not anything personal. It's the position that we've been put in. And I would just reiterate, like, you don't want to hurt your team. And the way you don't hurt your team is if you can't make a play on the ball, then you have to take them low. And honestly, you're going to last longer in the NFL anyways. Like, Shiloh's not a very big guy. Like, how big is he? Like 5'10", 200 pounds?
Maybe 6 foot, 205, maybe.
Yeah. So, like, the game is a space, fast, quick. You need to be able to cover and you need to be able to tackle. The big hitters are long gone. I mean, and that's just the reality. If you can't cover and you don't got swift hips, you're not going to last. So all these big time hits, you're going to last longer anyways, just being a good sound tackler and making plays on the ball.
All right, so let's talk about some of the all-time greats, bro. I know you're a student of the game, being a coach, and you were a fan before you played, like all of us were. I'm born and bred out here in Colorado, so I've got an affinity for Denver Broncos safeties, to say the least. But I in no particular order, give me your top 5 guys of all time to play and don that position.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many. I mean, Steve Atwater is someone that is beloved in that area, which is outside my top 5, but is an all-time great and played the game the way it's supposed to be played. But I have 6 names and a couple old school guys that maybe your listeners may not know, which if they do their reading and history on them, that these are 2 all-time greats that played in the 40s. So Emlyn Tunnel played from 48 to 61, is a Hall of Famer, and had 79 career interceptions. So I have him on my list, along with Larry Wilson, who was a all-time All-Pro, 5-time All-Pro, obviously a Hall of Famer. So those are 2 old school guys. And then going in to newer guys that I watched or tried to learn from as I was playing. Obviously, Ronnie Lott could do it all. A guy that could play corner and safety, was an All-Pro, Pro Bowler. But he 63 career interceptions, 6-time All-Pro. Like, the man was a legend. And so he's probably up there as my number 1. obviously, I thought as I grew older, Ed, Troy, and B-Doc were three of those guys that played as I was coming up. They were starting to phase out of the league as I was coming in. And each guy of those three, I would watch and try to take little tidbits of their game. I thought I was more of the realm of B-Doc and Troy. I felt like I could blitz, I could cover guys. I played the run, I could play the half. Where Ed was just so incredible, the half field safety and post player. I mean, I remember saying he was a backside half defender, and he beelined to the opposite half where his buddy was playing because he knew the ball was going there and picked off a corner route. And I was just like, how does someone do something like that? Like just amazed by these guys. And, B-Doc was so incredible. When I made my first Pro Bowl, it was his last Pro Bowl. And, he knew, we played against each other because he was in Denver at the time. And I just remember how graceful and humble in his humility, and that he took the time to just talk to me as a young fourth-year guy in the league. Like it meant so much to me, and I tried to do that as the older I got to be there for younger safeties. So I would say those six, and I would even throw Charles Woodson in there. The second half of his career, he played safety and nickel, and was. I mean, you could almost say he had two Hall of Fame careers, one at corner and one at like safety nickel hybrid. He was so good. So he was just so fun to watch. And I've been around him numerous times and just a great dude. So I would say those 6-7 guys, even Atwater putting it in there, are my all-time greats who transcended the game, who were the elite of the elite. Like when you think of, when I think of the Hall of Fame, and I think of those type of guys, those guys that were changed the game, changed the position, and guys that will go down as the best ever. And I know Dion has said this, that there should be like an upper, like the Hall of Fame is so prestigious, right? And you don't want to, when people ask me, do I think I'm a Hall of Fame? I say I don't think I am, because I don't look at myself as those type of guys, right? I think I was great in my own right, but you got to think like the Hall of Fame is the best of the best. And those guys were, and changed the game and gave guys like me hope to try to be a smidgen of what they were.
I mean, brother, I love this because I did my list like before I went on, and it's Atwater, Lott, Ed Reed, Troy Dawkins, Rod Woodson, Chuck Woodson. The same exact list, dog.
Yes,
so yeah, I mean, it's just. I remember I was in Miami, and I just moved to guard, and like I was on IR, and then I had to come back and kind of relearn the position. Cut by the Jets, went to the Dolphins. We were on a Wildcat that year, and we got into the playoffs. We played Baltimore at home in 2008.
I remember I was in the league. Miami came to us in San Diego that same year with the Wildcat and ran through us.
Yeah, it was fun. Like we had Ronnie and Ricky Williams, Patrick Cobbs from North Texas, and like Jake Long at left tackle. We had some dudes. And Pennington got like released from the Jets because they traded for Brett Favre, and he came down, and like that was really cool playing with him again. But we played Baltimore in the playoffs, bro, and they came to Miami. And we walked out the very first play, and it was Haloti Ngata, Terrell Suggs, Ray Lewis, Bart Scott, Ed Reed, McAllister. And like we did this motion, and it was like, Wildcat! And they pinched Pirate and ran like Ray over the top and just, and they beat us 31-3, dog. It was a fucking murder fest. So, yeah, those players are really, really, really special, dog. That's awesome. On the same wavelength.
Great minds think alike, man.
That's right, baby. Hey, so let me ask you this, bro. You brought up Charles Woodson. Travis Hunter. All right, that's all I'm going to say. Just Travis Hunter. Go.
Oh, geez. Where do I start? Unique, special, athleticism, explosive. He has to have the IQ of high level to be able to do both sides of the ball. Like people don't understand how hard it is to be great on one side of the ball, let alone start on both sides, to know where to line up, to know what to run, coverages, the routes, etc., motion shifts. Like that's more impressive than anything else to me, because I know when you get to the next level, it is all mind. It is 90% mental, 10% physical. Everybody is a specimen, right? It's what you do up here that separates yourself and makes you have a long career, right? Like, do you know what to do? And do you anticipate, and instincts and heart and all that, all those little things that people say, do you really have those? Or are you just playing the game and just out there? Like, you're either in the game or you're playing the game. It's two really different things. And I don't know. I don't know what his future holds at either spot. I haven't seen a bunch of the games. I saw a little bit of the Stanford game. I saw the UCLA game. I think he eventually needs to just focus in on one. And I think that's corner. I think he's rangy. He's twitchy. I look at him as Jalen Ramsey. His body type.
Exactly. Yep.
I think it's Jalen Ramsey, and maybe I don't want to disrespect Jalen because he's my bro, and I talked to him a couple of days ago. I think he's plays the ball better than Jalen at this point.
Did you see Jalen's drop into that zone the other day?
Yes.
Took the steps one step and just broke on the rock.
Yes.
I was surprised he didn't take it to the house. Why didn't he take it to the house?
I'm still trying to get an explanation why. He probably isn't texting me back because he doesn't have an explanation, but that's not being hey Jalen, that's not being great. You know better than that. So I think he could be I think he has everyone has potential, but I think he has the traits to be a standout corner at the next level.
I mean, can you teach at the TCU game? I saw him fall off of coverage.
Crazy.
The UCLA game, I saw him fall off of coverage and bait the quarterback and pick the ball. I can't say I've seen it before, obviously, but I've never seen it done that way. Like he's like a cobra, like reaches out and gets the ball. He doesn't just
seriously.
He doesn't like going, like the way that like Prime used to do it. He just bait him and then go right in front of the dude, catch it, take it to the house, right? Travis like baits him and just goes, what? It's like Earthworm Jim, dog. It's like he takes his head off and snaps the ball and grabs it back and he's like, that's mine. Yeah,
like the instincts and intuition is, you can't coach those things. Like I almost look at those plays like a Rondé Barber when that cover 2 system and how many picks he made on just dropping into the hook or cover 2 flat corner and baiting that corner out. Like that is who I saw when those plays were made. Is him. He was the best at it, at the zone drops, or even a Asante Samuel type. Like the amount of picks that these guys made and dropping zone coverages and using their instincts and ball skills. Like it's hard to teach. Like you can't teach. People always, people would ask me all the time, how did you make this play? Or how did you know to be here when nothing is telling you to do this? I'm like, it's instincts, man. It's football acumen. It's the preparation, it's the study, and then you see it, you go get it, and you always trust your instincts, right? Like you never not do that as a player. And for him, he's shown that keen ability. Like holy smokes, those are incredible plays, not just good plays, incredible plays.
Incredible plays. All right, brother. Last couple of questions, and then we'll get you out of here. I know you got a big afternoon in front of you here. The great Eric Weddle, 14-year NFL vet, Super Bowl champion, multiple Pro Bowler. Okay. NFL's the parity, either there's parity or it's just
wait. You can keep going. All pro, all decade.
Handsome, all that, like everything. He had wore a visor too. So
I did one. Dark visor. Took me my 14th year to get it.
Dark visor crew. White boys with visors. Watch out for us. We're fucking lethal. So who like, I'm not saying like best AFC, best division, and all that shit. Just who off the top of your head right now from a team perspective do you really think is going to come out all of this after the first 8?
Jeez. I think there's still a group of teams. If you want to talk the NFC, Philly is I love that we finally saw the hurts of last year, right? Like completions, big plays. AJ Brown is playing out of his mind right now. You could put him up there and with Tyreek Hill, but it just as a player, maybe in the MVP conversation, like he's been unstoppable. I think 6 straight games of 100 yards or more, and it was 5 straight games of 125 yards or more. So I think on the NFC side, Philly is head and shoulders above everyone else. The Niners are struggling a little bit. I think it's a number of things, but you still got to believe that once Debo gets back and you're not having to rely so much on Purdy trying to win the game for you, they're going to be a team that's going to be tough to deal with. And outside of those 2 teams, and I would throw the Lions in there. I think the Lions, nobody will want to play in the playoffs. I think their offense travels with the way they run the ball downhill under center, with the outside zone and the gap scheme. And the shot plays that Jared Goff can do. Sorry, hold on. What's that? Lit roller? I can get it to you in a second once I'm done. I don't know where it's at. That's my youngest.
I love it, dude.
Getting ready for her costume or whatever. I don't know. So I would say those 3 teams. Everyone else on the NFC. Oh, and Seattle. I would throw Seattle in there.
Those uniforms, bro. How sick
yeah,
are those
man.
uniforms? Oh
so I would throw those 4 on the NFC, unless I'm forgetting someone. But those 4 off the top of my head. On the AFC, it's
same suspects, right? Kansas City and everybody in Miami.
Yeah, I mean,
they play in Frankfurt. Like, what? Do you think that game? If you're playing in that game and it's that important? Do you really want to go to Frankfurt to play it?
No, I don't. But you're going to do it if seeding's on the line and trying to get a home playoff game. You don't want to play the Chiefs at home. So if any of those teams can surpass them, it'll be huge, and they're going to play all the way down to the line. So the Chiefs, the Bengals are finally hitting their stride. We always know that they start slow, so it makes sense why they're finally turning on. I put the Ravens in there. They're a complete team.
That's the one right there. The Ravens, Baltimore to me is just
the only thing that there's so much scheme based that in the playoffs, are they going to be able to manufacture a pass rush with who they have without blitzing? Because that's why I love Baltimore and I love my time there. Is so much is team playing together, 11 guys, disguising, movement, blitzing from everywhere. That's who we are, right? And that's the Ravens. But at times you have to be able to just play coverage, and your 4-man rush has to get there. And I don't know. I'm hoping, obviously, but I think that may to be determined on that. I still think they're one of the top teams in the AFC that can come out of there. Miami, I still think you can't count out Buffalo. The AFC South is terrible. The AFC West with the Chiefs, the Chargers are fake. Everybody else is fake in the AFC South, AFC West. So there's 5-6 teams out of the AFC I think that are legit that have a chance. And Cleveland, if they had a quarterback and not the what should I call him? But I'm not very high on the guy that's not playing right now over there. with having three girls and one of my rules for our non-negotiable rule for my players is treating women with respect. And if that does not happen, you're immediately gone from my team. So
and that was some scumbag shit. And look, Cleveland's pretty good, but it's not surprising that karma has bit Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, man. Like, there's no way that should have ever happened. I mean, I'm shocked that an owner would have signed off on this, and it just says nothing can take away someone's character and what you stand for. And the Cleveland Browns, I don't know how anyone supports that franchise or that team by doing that. You basically turn your back on every woman, regardless if it's true or not. Some 39, 50 women. I mean, give me a break. You're not all of those women are making this up. And so whatever. That's just a soapbox, but
man, I'll tell you. Real scumbag. All right, so the great Eric Weddle, 14-year NFL vet, bro. I thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course, man, anytime.
Happy Halloween to you and your family. And then, hey, we're moving to the Big 12 together. This rivalry's going on the road, baby. I think
no
the
doubt.
Big 12, like if Utah can dominate the Pac-12, they are going to mop up the Big 12.
Seriously, I mean, They got to be the top dog starting next year in that conference.
100%, especially with Oklahoma and Texas leaving. You'd have to think that Utah sees blood in the water to go run another conference. So I'm super excited about it, bro. We definitely have to figure out if we're going to do Thanksgiving in Salt Lake and go to this game or not. You know, it's hard with families and whatnot, but I think regardless, one of these days we got to get the CU Utah thing going.
No doubt.
And maybe they'll change up the schedule and they'll play at a different time so we can actually go to the game so it's not centered around Thanksgiving. Wed, bro, keep doing what you're doing. You got a ton of support out here in Denver, and we love you, bro. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Anytime, man. Wish you best of luck. And anytime you need me on, I'm there for you.
Later, beer. Peace. Well, that was a great Eric Weddle on 0-60. The 2 p.m. show's a wrap. I'm your host, Matt McChesney. As always, I know this thing is just super clean. I know it is. You ain't got to tell me. Won't be wearing it anymore because it's made of wool and I'm sweating like a whore in church. And it's Halloween and trick or treat. Trick or treat, baby. Remember, go to 60equipment.com. Check out the body bags if you want to donate one to a high school or buy one for your kids. I mean, multi-uses. Go check that out at 60equipment.com. Make sure you check out all the swag at 60 as well on the Shopify account at 60 and get yourself a couple t-shirts or some hoodies. And then also, thank you for supporting the shows. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at 60 Academy on all 3 of those platforms. Subscribe on YouTube. Pound that like button. We're trying to get the show off the ground. We really appreciate it. The Believe Network has been awesome. And I can't say enough about my co-host, Bree Masis, in the morning and how much she has helped get this off the ground. So we are rolling. We'll be back tomorrow morning with the 60 Top 6. If you've got anything that you want us to talk about, just let us know. And we'll have more great guests and people coming up here on the show as we go forward. So later, folks. Have a good day, and see you in the morning.